Alright, the next Frontier Unlocked has been there, and we didn't really get that much news for Planet Coaster 2. In fact, there's just that one big news. There's going to be exciting new content in the near future. More about that later. First of all, let's quickly talk about the content we've seen in the wonderful Unlocked. And to be honest, I just want to go into the ride photos, the on-ride photos, because most of the other stuff we've seen already in last month's update. And also, for those of you who are impatient, on Monday, the update is going to be dropping. So, first of all, I gotta say, they have done a stellar job in the last couple months integrating all these things. Everything we got, including the restaurants and the souvenir shops, have not just been ported over from Planet Zoo, but they have been improved massively over their counterpart in Planet Zoo. Now, they also gave us now on-ride photo, which is in fact one of the few completely new features we haven't seen in any other game. And I gotta say, oh my god, how good, how well this is done. We've seen some footage in the background now. If I integrated that from the Unlocked, you can see how the camera is automatically being placed when you fix the exact positioning. And you only have the camera. You can build the entire thing around it however you like. You can build supports, you can build scaffolding, whatever you need, or you can integrate that fully in the scenery. Speaking of scenery, obviously, we do have now the two last returning themes, which is Fairy Tale and Pirates, which I'm super excited about. Specifically, Pirates is a theme that I used a lot. Maybe it's also a bit of nostalgia because, you know, it's been the very first theme that we were able to play with, frankly. A lot of these things, and at the very beginning of the first alpha of Planet Coaster back in 2016, was using the set, and that was when we all were abusing the Pirate Barrel, for those of you, or Pirate Planter Barrel, I should say, which was the only piece that could make people not crash into anything. You know, these pieces, for whatever reason, had a kind of a hitbox in it, and so everyone was placing these things underneath the map. I remember that one of my maps looked hilarious when you go underground, and there was like all these planter boxes, barrel planter boxes there, kind of fancy. But yeah, so that's what we got in here. They've also shown off the souvenir shop, which works pretty similar to the one in Planet Zoo. A couple of changes. You can now specifically change which theme you want to display, which I find a very good addition to what Planet Zoo was doing. And you don't need the ground tiles, but they already said that in the last unlock, which means you can now have a lot of these things very much more, you know, flexible and on the ground just as you like it. So that's pretty cool, and there's a lot of other changes coming with this update too, which is going to be in the full changelog, which drops tomorrow, as they said, or maybe today. I have no idea when I'm able to drop the video, so bear in mind I'm still on holiday, so maybe that is coming later. I don't know, but we are trying my best here. But let's talk about the one very important thing, what they said at the end of the Planet Coaster 2 part. They were asked what's going on next, and they have stated that they have done quite a lot of updates now, and they will take a little break now. I guess not only to reiterate, but they said specifically they will be back soon in the near future. So I'm assuming it's not going to be a month. It's going to be maybe the end of next unlock. We may get a view on a next roadmap, or maybe a hint, or maybe a teaser, you don't know, for then the month after. So July, very typically there is no content. I was already pretty much amazed that they kept going until the end of June. But as there's like summer holidays and people want to go onto holidays in general, and they've got Jurassic World Evolution 3 lined up, they will be quite busy. So I assume they need that break also resource-wise. And they will be back with new content, they said, which I personally find a very, very good way of doing. I guess this is the absolute best thing they could do now. Not rush anything, not do the same mistake again. All the updates they've delivered so far had very good quality. They really hit home. They really did what they needed to. We are not quite there yet, you know. If you take this June update now and say, okay, this is the release version, I keep saying that, but that would be a massive Planet Coaster 2 hit, you know. The flumes have been fixed, most of the rides have been fixed, we have some actual cool coaster stuff now with the on-ride photos. That is exciting, good stuff. But I also say, you know, this is the basis. From now on, we need new content, which is something I've said quite a lot of times now. And we do need the new content in order to, you know, make sure to make a leap from the original Planet Coaster. Maybe also, as I said, maybe adjust some weather and all these kind of things. Maybe we're going to see some of this update. Who knows? But that's been it. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the trailer again with the two new themes, because that is something very exciting. I can't wait to start playing around with. And I don't really have that much more to say, but there will be a dedicated video about Jurassic World Evolution 3 soon. because I'm extremely excited for that game too. We are going to talk about that, and I think Frontier really makes they make a good turn into the right direction right now. And not only with this game, but also with all their other lineup at the moment. So let me know what you think in the comments down below about this update, and also the fact that they're doing a little bit of a break. Again, as I said, I personally can very well live with that, because I have not really played around with most of the updates now. Barely build a restaurant fully, barely build a souvenir shop apparently, it's not here yet, but ride photos, all these things I need to check out. So give me time to breathe, that is a good one. So thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll talk to you, as always, in the next one.